There is nothing like the feeling of getting ready to paddle out on a day when the waves are absolutely perfect. Yet no matter how perfect it is, the ocean is powerful. It's really a force like no other. If you're not prepared, if you don't get the board ready, you don't wax up, and if we don't understand how small we are compared to the power of the waves, you can easily get hurt. I've been surfing almost my whole life. And when I was young, I didn't know that surfing was about letting go. I didn't realize how much of it was about surrendering to the wave in order to maximize the ride. And when I think about that, the times we are experiencing have a lot of similarities. We're experiencing kind of loss of control and surrender. But man, I really feel that if we learn to surrender to the ride, so to speak, to the time, to the plan, to the sovereignty of God, I really believe that what God has ahead of us individually, as a church, as a country, could be more amazing than anything we could imagine. You can't control the wave, honestly, just like you can't control life. There's lefts, there's rights. You know, it takes a lot of humility to let the wave actually take you. But when you do, it's a ride like you cannot believe. Well, let's talk about control. You know, it's a fallacy that leads to losing the very life it tries to seize. And if truth be told, when we really struggle with control, or when we're operating in control, we're trying to play God. You know, we want to be able to make everything work in the exact alignment of the way that makes us feel most comfortable. Control's about fear, and I get that. Like, we don't like things coming onto us or things controlling us, and we don't want to control us. And many of us wrestle with control because control was taken from us at some time in our life. There was a time when somebody forced their will on us. There was a time where somebody, took away what rightfully belonged to us. And, whether we're older or younger, when that happens, something digs inside of our, na'au. It gets inside of our inner person, our spirit, that just says, I will never let anybody control me again. But the thing is, if we're going to understand surfing, one of the biggest things that is going to help you become the surfer, to be able to experience what you want to experience, is you got to recognize you're not in control. What we have to do is work in a partnership with a power that's bigger than ourselves. When I'm coming into that space, man, one of the things I realize is I can't control the wave. But if I can come to a place of, honestly, like a surrender, if I can come to the place where I let the wave actually push me, part of that surrendering of control and moving to trust is what we call a bottom turn. See, a bottom turn is when you take that speed and you come off the bottom of the wave and you pivot. And when you pivot that way, you begin to come back up into the part of the wave that's breaking. That movement of that bottom turn is a pivot, honestly, from being in control to being in surrender. And maybe if we kind of put that in an analogy, it's like, how good's your bottom turn? Can you bottom turn to trust? Can you bottom turn to trusting God? Can you come up into the space where it's, God, help me to not try to seize control, but help me to work in the flow of what your Holy Spirit is doing, man. And when you get into that space and you realize, man, God, I'm not in control, you're in control, but I'm partnering with your power, I'm partnering with your way, man, the things that you can begin to do because you've surrendered that control, man, you begin to enter into really a riding out of life like you can't believe. The places you'll go, the things that you'll be able to do on the wave, the excitement. I can't express the adrenaline, building of power, just like coming down and getting all that speed. hit it as hard as you can. And when you do, and all that power releases, the water releases, all that different types of stuff, you're just like, you know what I mean? It's like dirty. Oh my gosh, you know? And in that same way, man, when we're working in that work of the Spirit, as some of you know, and you're going, and you pivot out of control and you move into surrender and you step into that thing that God really wants you to do, and it just feels like that, wow, man, I feel your power, God. I feel the release. Man, I feel like I'm doing exactly what I was meant to do. But it all starts with how do we handle control? So how's your bottom turn, friends? How do you pivot from control to surrender, from fear to faith? And if you learn how to do that, you might get the ride of your life with God like you can't believe. Did you ever think that letting go could produce something so beautiful, so pure in your life? I've been searching for perfect waves all of my life, but now I realize that there's no greater joy than being able to ride these waves of life together. Being able to teach others, to paddle alongside the next generation, to show them the power of letting go. There are so many parallels between surfing and life, and together we can experience the power and the blessing of letting go.